For tonight's recipe, we are just using 1 tin of Cooper's Mexican beer, Mexican style lager. We have the Brew Enhancer 2. That's literally the ingredients for tonight. There is yeast in here as well. We're going to be using the yeast, obviously. We need sterilizer. So I bought the sterilizer from Big W. All of this is from Big W. And then we need some drops for the carbonation, but that'll be next week after the fermentation. Other equipment you will need, or you should already have, and if not, you need to get it. You'll need a 30 litre fermenter, at least 23 litres. That's what we're going to be up to today. I'm actually going to go to 22 litres. I'm going to leave a little bit of headspace in there so it's a little bit stronger. You are going to need a hydrometer, which I've got a hydrometer here. I'll show you how to use that. You need a measuring flask of some description. You can sometimes get the hydrometer that comes in a measuring sampling tube, but mine doesn't. Obviously you're fermenting, you need a tap. I've bought a new tap from this one because the last one had a leak. It's a good idea to get a sediment reducer, that's what that is. You're going to need a airlock for your fermenter, and then your big spoon. That's everything we need to make beer, plus water, which we'll get into in a minute.
Big W today, Sunshine Coast, Kiwana Waters. Ignoring the paper bag, but we've got the 1.7 kg of the Coopers, which is the Mexican lager. The Brew Enhancer 1 kilo is $10, so $29.70 for this beer that we've made. The beer cleaner, the beer bottle that's there, is $4, and the Coopers drops are $4.50. So when we get to bottling, we'll need those Coopers drops. And you'll always need cleaning solutions, so it gives you a rough idea of the cost.
Okay, so for this brew, because we're not doing a boil, it's just extract. It's important that we have everything sterilised first. Everything has been washed and cleaned with a cleaning solution, and we just need to sterilise it to make sure there's no bacteria. Now, I did purchase the Cooper's one because it was on special from Big W when I went in today. However, we are just going to use the one I already have open. So this is just a no-rinse sanitizer. Whatever kit you buy will come with a no-rinse sanitizer. For this one, I've just put 1 tablespoon in a litre of water. Give that a good mix. Give it a minute to dissolve. And then I'll put my sediment reducer in there. I'll put my tap in there as well. Give that a minute to get covered. I'll also put the airlock in, open this up, put the airlock components in, get them all soaked in the water. Now, as soon as you give it a minute or so for that to sort of soak up with the tap, we will give it a bit more than just that, obviously. The next thing for this is I put the sediment reducer onto the tap and attach it to the fermenter. Now, really hard to do this with one hand, so I'm going to do it with the phone standing. So the tap facing down, the sediment reducer slit facing up, and then we just put them together and give that a good push tight on there. So that's on there now. And then we find a hole on our fermenter, which is over here. And then we'll screw that into there. Okay, I'll screw that nice and tight, and then we'll go to sterilising the fermenter. Alright, so fermenter has been sterilised. It is now sitting on the floor, on a clean tea towel obviously. The tap is not touching the floor, just in case you care. This is now, as before, take the label off, put it in the hot water. So this time I haven't opened it yet, so it's still sealed. I've just put it in there. I did have it in right way up. I just turned it upside down. It's hot. Flip it again. It's hot. Towel. I'll put it back in there for another minute. Letting all the contents warm up will just help it come out easier. I have my tin opener ready to open it. I'll come back in a sec. Alright, so the tin's open, it's still pretty hot. I have a kettle full of boiling water there ready to go. Once I've tipped this in, I'll put the kettle in there, the water in there to get it out. I've got a tea towel there in case it's too hot for me, but I need 2 hands for this, so I'll pour this in to the empty fermenter and then add the boiling water to the empty tin to get the last remaining residents out, and then pour any left in there. And then I put the kettle on a boil again because I need 2 boils of kettle according to the instructions. And then I'll empty this in, and then using my big spoon, give it a good mix. All right, so we have all of our malt got malt and a brew enhancer added in. So a couple of litres of hot water, been stirring, you can see nice and foamy. Now I'm going to add my cold water. I need to bring the temperature, I fill it up to 23 degrees, 23 litres, and then get the temperature down to about 21, and then I can pitch the yeast straight into this one and then rack it up and away we go. Alright, so we're full. We've got a lovely foam on top from the mixing, which means lots of oxygen, which is good for a yeast. We are just shy of 23 litres, which I was planning on going 22 for this batch, but 23 will be fine. And we are, according to the temperature strip, sitting just between 22 to 24 degrees, which is perfect for this yeast. It should be between 21 and 27, so this is a great range. For this one, I'm just using the standard yeast that comes with it. Normally in the last batch I did, I chucked out the standard to use the specialty yeast, but for this one we're just using this. I'll get my scissors, I'll cut open the top. Alright, so we have the pat yeast open, we can get that in focus. No, not going to happen. Anyway, my spoon's still in there, so we can give this a stir in just a moment. Get the yeast in there. Got a spoon, I got a bit of a spoon, I'll try and get it off. And then we just give this a bit of a stir in, just a little bit, just to help it get down into the wort. Try and get it off the spoon where we can. We don't want to bring any with us if possible. Yeah, looks good. Here we go. A bit more of a stir. Alright. It's looking good. Okay, and then we'll put the spoon out to wash. We'll get our lid, which has already been sterilised, and just sitting, waiting. Put our lid on. Nice and tweet. And then we will put our airlock into there. But we'll move it before we fill it, and then all we do is we get a bit of boiled water and we stick it in there, and then we put this on there, and then we put the lid on top, and that's it. Another batch done. Now after all that, I was so excited, got it finished. I forgot to take a reading. So let's see if I can figure out how to do this with one hand. No, I need two hands. Put this down for a sec. So watch my feet. So we just turn the tap on. Okay, and then all we've got to do is fill this flask and fill our sample tube until the hydrometer floats. We have liftoff. Okay, bucket underneath tap just in case there is a drip. So that's going to be our original gravity reading. What we need to do now is just wait for the foam bubbles to die down so we can actually read it. And it looks like it's going to be a really nice, clean, clear beer, this one. Look at that. Looks good. Looks good already. So, I can't read it yet, but the way you read this is, if I can focus, there we go. 1000 is water. So it'll be 1.0, and we're looking at, I reckon, 1.040 or 1.038. Should be around there somewhere. If I can use two hands. Around there somewhere, I reckon. And this is the painful part. You gotta try and read it. Look at that. Oh, it's actually, looks like it's 4.2. Cool. There's bubbles in the way, so we just Try and get the reading we need. Normally what I would suggest is just leave the hydrometer alone in there for a good couple of minutes. The foam will go away, but because I'm filming, might as well try and get it. Need the other side. Just keep nudging it. Still foam there, but yeah, that's definitely 4.2. Okay, that's stronger than I thought. Okay, that's good. So 1.042 is our original gravity read. So the math is, after fermentation becomes steady, it's the original, subtract the final, and then there is a small calculation, which if you're using my app, it does that for you. You just enter in the values.